Before we get to my encounter with two little beings, which were between 18 and 24 inches tall, I'd like to share what happened when I told my friend's landlord about the encounter. My friend let me stay at one of her rental properties during my visit. In this particular case, it was a fully furnished basement of a large home up on a bluff overlooking a harbor. The homeowners were in their 60s and agreed to let me stay in their basement, while she crashed at a waterfront cottage she lived in part of the year. One night, I was invited to attend the homeowners' weekly barbecue out back. Making small talk, the wife sat down next to me and asked about some of my experiences, as my friend told her we used to work together and I had many things happen. She seemed okay hearing about my UFO and Bigfoot encounters, but what really made her feel uncomfortable was the story you are about to hear. In fact, she became so uncomfortable, I could feel it from downstairs. She wanted me out of their house. I told my friend I was cutting my stay short and leaving. She didn't understand why. All I said was that I no longer felt welcome. Thinking it was just my imagination, that night she met with the homeowners to make sure. She had other friends stay there, but none were ever unwelcome.
You are right. One of your stories really freaked them out and made her feel afraid for some reason. Sorry you have to leave.
Which story was it?
Something about little people.
So she was okay with Bigfoot and aliens?
Seems so. You can crash at my beach house if you want.
Thanks. That would be nice. I'll only be here a week.
No problem. Stay as long as you need. I'll stay here in the basement then.
Okay. Sounds good. Thanks. Now, let's get to the story that scared this woman so badly. It was spring, and I was on a multi-state road trip, which eventually led me to the Pacific Northwest. After driving nonstop through several states and for too many hours to remember, I saw a sign along the highway for camping. I took that exit and made my way to the campground. There was still snow on the ground in places, and the air was cold. The camp host allowed me to spend the night for free if it was only for one night. I agreed to his terms and thanked him. I quickly put up my tent, and just in time, as it began to rain. I remember thinking that I would love to go to sleep while it rained. I was so tired from being up for 2 days and then driving all day and night to this end. Sleeping to the sound of rain sounded amazing. I don't even know what time of day it was. It didn't matter. I needed to sleep. While laying on my back with my eyes closed, I invited the area's Sasquatch people to come visit me if they were interested. I then passed out. Sometime later, someone repeatedly poked my right shoulder. At that point, I was sleeping on my left side, so my right shoulder was the highest part of my body. Someone was poking me with their finger as if saying, "Hey mister, wake up. We're here." They kept poking until I responded. When I finally did, I said in my thoughts, "Thank you for coming, but I'm really tired and I'm sorry, but I need to sleep." In fact, I couldn't open my eyes. They were so heavy and it hurt to open them. Apparently unhappy with my reply, whomever it was behind me stopped poking and then began tugging at my shoulder to get me to roll over onto my back. Then they jumped up on my stomach. Realizing it, I tried as much as I could to open my eyes, but only managed a small slit opening. That's when I saw it. Sitting on me and looking at me was a sort of tiny person. I could see that it was no more than 24 inches tall, possibly closer to 18 inches. It had a dark gray or olive green skin color and arms that were maybe the size of a 50-cent piece in diameter, possibly smaller. It also had long silver or blonde hair. I think it was wearing a hat. I really couldn't get my eyes to open wide enough to clear the blur. If you squint your eyes, you will see what I mean. The more you squint, the blurrier things become. Again, I told them I was really sorry for not being a good host and thanked them for coming to visit. I was just too tired to get up. Before closing my eyes and going back to sleep, I saw a second tiny person to my left. They were sampling my dehydrated banana chips and trail mix. I told them to help themselves and that I was going back to sleep. When I awoke in the morning, they were gone, and so was half of my trail mix. Now, back to the homeowner and why she was so uncomfortable with this encounter. I really don't understand what it was that scared her so much. That night at the barbecue, she asked the obvious question, do I drink or do drugs? My answer was no to both. I suspect that if I said yes, she could have used that as an out, so she didn't have to believe me. Suffice it to say, not everyone is comfortable with the idea of Bigfoot and aliens, their homes being haunted, etc.